My name is Simon Bastow. I'm very proud to be the program director for this wonderful program, the Master of Public Policy in the LSE School of Public Policy. Welcome to you wherever you are in the world. This is as I said, an information session, and the idea is to inform you. We've got an hour ahead of us, so we're here to inform you, to possibly to inspire you, and to give you everything you need to know about our program and how you what you need to do to apply and everything really. So this is the beginning of a conversation, opening the channels with you, our prospective cohort for next year. As I said, this is a 9-month program. It's pretty intensive. It goes by pretty quickly. It's designed for an early to mid-career audience. So I'll give you a bit more detail about that in a minute. And it's really, it's about the craft of government and all the things you need to know, the knowledge you need, the skills, the training, the know-how, the knack, to succeed in any aspect of public policy as a practitioner or as a leader, and so on. And there's no better time really to enter the world of public policy. There are a lot of major issues and problems out there in the world that require really skilled, knowledgeable, trained leaders and practitioners to make the world a better place for the betterment of society, which after all is in the logo of our wonderful institution, the LSE. So as I said, this is for you. Please feel free to write in the chat and to interact. If you'd like to put your hand up and speak, we'll have an opportunity to take questions, or if you'd rather just write in the chat, that's absolutely fine. So I'm delighted to have some colleagues with me from the LSE. I'm sitting in my office on the 5th floor of our wonderful building on the campus of LSE. There was a faint noise of a student protest going on outside a couple of minutes ago, but it seems to have dissipated a little bit. So hopefully you can hear me fine. I'm going to introduce some colleagues who are here to support you during the next hour. Georgina and Sarah are from our core marketing and student experience team, and I'm sure that maybe you've been in touch with one of them already. Do you want to wave, Georgina and Sarah? Say hi. Great stuff. We've also got Maddie from our admissions team, who is on hand to answer any complex questions you have about the logistics of applying. So there's Maddie. And I think that's the whole team from SPP. I'm also delighted to welcome 2 real-life alumni from last year, the class of 2025 of the Master of Public Policy. What better way is there to learn about what it's like to take a program than from the people who have actually done it? I'm delighted to welcome Andrea Belén Vega Toledo from Peru. She's currently in Peru now, I gather. Welcome, Andrea. Thank you very much. And Sachin Iyer from India, who's currently in London. Great stuff. Thank you. And I'll certainly give you a chance to introduce yourselves in a minute, and we'll hear from them as we go. The idea really in the next hour is to give you some background really, and inspire you and inform you a little bit about the place, London, the London School of Economics and the School of Public Policy, and the people you're going to meet here. So we'll think about people and place and people. We'll give you some information about the structure of our program, the curriculum, what you'll be asked to do in academic terms while you're here, what the study consists of. It's intensive and hard work. It's definitely a full-time program, but many people do work during their time here and have other things going on. But we see it very much as a full-time program. We'll give you some information about our professional skills offering and our careers offering. A huge part of our program is to help you to think about yourself as a professional, a public policy professional in many ways, and what you need to develop while you're here, and what you want to sort of achieve as you leave us and move on back into the world of work. We'll talk a bit about the extracurricular stuff on offer, of which there is a lot, a great deal, and of course any gnarly questions about the logistics of applying and what you need to do to be successful with your application. I think we'll just head on. We've got some slides to go through. It's a fairly informal session, so I'll be asking colleagues to chip in as and when, and I'll also try and keep an eye on the chat and respond to any burning questions you have. I mean, it's a very easy sell, the LSE. It's world renowned, it's global, unashamedly global in many ways. Award winning, as the visuals on the screen suggest, but more fundamentally than that, just a wonderful place to study and to be, a place of collective learning with a great heritage and history, Nobel Prize winners, pictures on the walls, students from every corner of the globe, really, and indeed faculty as well, who are leaders in their field. So it's a place that you come and experience, and it stays with you for the rest of your life in terms of the friends you make, the connections you make, and the things you learn. So I don't have to work hard really to sell the concept and the institution that is the LSE. It speaks for itself in many ways. It's a global institution, but it's also actually very local. It has a local feel embedded in this in the centre of London, as the map suggests. Just over Waterloo Bridge, you walk north and find the LSE amongst the law courts, and a really kind of compact and old world and new world campus. Absolutely. A little bit down the river is Parliament and Westminster and Whitehall. The other way is the city and very tall buildings, and a little bit further north is the intellectual centre of London, Bloomsbury, and so on, the British Library. So it's just a fantastic place to study and to live. I don't think there's any question about that. There's the LSE, as I said, a world-renowned institution, the School of Public Policy, which is our growing community, really, of public policy programs, master's level programs. Currently, we have 8 programs for postgraduates, both full-time and more executive modular programs. But the number of students is growing, the body is growing, and there's an incredible diversity to and well, certainly a multicultural campus in that respect. The SPP is led by our dean, Professor Andres Velasco, a former Minister of Finance and presidential candidate in his home country of Chile. We're a superb leader and has been for the last 6 or 7 years since the School of Public Policy was set up. So that's the broader campus and the broader context of SPP. And our programme is the MPP, the Master of Public Policy. As I said, it's an early to mid-career programme and this is an important point if you're thinking about whether to apply, we need you to have at least 5 years of good, solid professional experience under your belt. It doesn't have to be in government. It doesn't have to be in a particular sector. It just needs to be good, solid professional experience, ideally in an area relevant to public policy, but that's a very broad selection of potential areas. So, at the heart of the programme is this concept of learning and training the craft of government. It means it's a very multidisciplinary programme where we draw on, the real strength of disciplines of the LSE: economics, political science, management, and philosophy. It's a 9-month programme. It goes very quickly, as I'm sure our alums will testify to. Perhaps they're nodding as I speak. And probably the size of the cohort will be somewhere around 80 to 90 students. This year we have 82 students in our group. And as I speak, the student protest has just started up again. And that reflects very much the SPP community as a whole. Many different nationalities, a growing and really impressive global network of alums that you can tap into very easily while you're here and indeed in the years afterwards. For our MPP program, these are the basics which I've sort of covered already. Just to sort of reiterate the interdisciplinarity of it, drawing on different disciplines, and really, this triangle of academic rigor and excellence, and really working you hard while you're here. There's no doubt about that. Secondly, a real focus on you as a professional, and your development in that respect. And thirdly, really, we're not, an ivory tower school or program. All the learning you do, the conceptual, the theoretical learning, is done in a very applied concept. And a great many of our faculty are professors in practice who have been out there in the world, been there, done it, served in their governments at very high level positions, and sort of, can marry the concepts, the theory, the academic knowledge with the real life applied knowledge. So that is the fundamental really of the MPP. Perhaps you're thinking, I'm not sure whether I've got the background, whether I'm the right kind of fit for this. Have I done the right degree? Have I got the right sort of qualifications? Probably the answer is if you've got an undergraduate level degree to at least a 2-1 standard, to a good level, and you've got 5 years of professional experience behind you, you're going to be a good fit for this program. Okay, so on the screen in front of you are the academic sort of backgrounds, the profile of the current cohort. Actually, that reflects very nicely the 7 years of the MPP. It's pretty much the same every year, where we have a good number of lawyers, a good number of economists and accountants and people from a finance background, a good chunk of people with STEM degrees, so engineers, for example. Sachin has an engineering background, I know, and a good chunk of people from what we might call standard social science backgrounds as well, political science, and others. About half of our current cohort have got postgraduate qualifications already. So, there's nothing wrong with getting too many qualifications. So why not just add another one? But that's the profile, the academic profile of our MPP students. The professional profile is again incredibly mixed and diverse. About half of the group have come from a government role somewhere. That might be a central government role or a local government role or whatever. But the other half have come from all over the place, different sectors, private sector, international organizations, and so on, really. So again, a very broad church and a very sort of inclusive family community of professionals. I think that's the basic bottom line of the community we have here. So yeah, this is the current year. As I said, we've got a class of 82. We'll probably have much the same next year. The average age is just above 30, but there's a good spread below and above. 35 nationalities and 82 people. That's not bad, but we have good representation from most continents. Yeah, and an average of about 8 years. So actually, the minimum is 5, but actually you'll find when you get here that most people have closer to 10 years of professional experience. There's a photo here which I think Andrea is on. I think you are in the middle there.
Yes, I'm there with my green jacket.
So there you go, looking wonderful there in the London sunshine. Maybe this is a good time it's a good time to come to you two, and maybe I can ask you to reflect on, just introduce yourselves a little bit about your background. Why did you feel you needed an MPP in your life, and what did you find in terms of the group when you arrived? Maybe I can get you to reflect a bit on that. Sure. Andrea, would you like to go first?
Of course. Yes, well, I'm Andrea. I'm a Peruvian lawyer. My background is that I work, before joining the MPP, I worked for 7 years at the Consumer Protection Authority. So I was a public for 7 years, and I felt that I wanted to do this because I was already doing policy back in my work, but I felt that I needed this professional background, like having the basics, knowing the fundamentals of public policy. And when I learned about the MPP at the LSE, I knew this was for me. So I really had no doubt this was for me. And also I investigated a lot about the previous cohorts, about professors, about how was the engagement within the SPP. And yeah, I had no doubt this was my dream university. I actually only applied for the MPP at LSE, and I'm glad I made this decision because I can say without doubt that this was the best year of my life, both professionally and personally. And so yeah, I encourage you to look at the program, to investigate. As Simon said, basically any background will be a good fit for the MPP if you have experience, because I was amazed by the different backgrounds that we had in our cohort last year. I'm a lawyer, but I've worked with some economists, but I was amazed that I could be in the same room also with politicians, with communicators, with engineers, with doctors. So yeah, I would say that the background you come from won't be a limitation for the MPP, because it's a course that teaches you the fundamental that you can apply for your what you choose to pursue later. So as I said, previously of joining the MPP, I was working for the public sector for 7 years. And after the MPP, I'm proud to say that now I'm working for an international organization, which also seeks a consumer protection stuff, but more from a global perspective and from a policy side. So I'm really happy to be applying what I've learned in this amazing year, and happy to keep in touch. And also from the personal side, I'm really happy to say that I can call most of the people I met there my best friends. I've been in touch with them since we left London. And actually, I was back in London for 1 week, and I got to see some people. And now, as part of my job, I'm traveling some countries, and I'm happy to say that I can meet most of my classmates in every country I go. So I would say that this, as I said, this was the best year of my life, and I cherish all the moments I had there with a very full heart. So I encourage you to take this program as well.
Thank you very much. That was wonderful. Great. Sachin, maybe we can hear from you as well. Hello.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Simon, and it's lovely to be speaking with everyone. So, in terms of my context, I am originally from India. As Simon alluded to, my educational background is I have a bachelor's in engineering, and I also had a master's degree prior to coming to the MPP. Actually, I'd done my master's in business and MBA a long time ago. And prior to coming to the MPP, I'd worked for more than a decade, about 15 years actually, in investment banking with Citigroup, the American Investment Bank. So my work primarily involved, I used to head up a business called debt capital markets. So I needed to help governments and other public sector entities access debt finance in the global capital markets. And I also used to do a lot of work in sustainable finance, where again, I would help these public sector entities access funding to be able to fund their various decarbonization and net zero initiatives. So as I did all this work over my decade and a half of my career with Citigroup, I increasingly found myself drawn to these policy-oriented aspects, which sort of overlapped with finance. And I concluded that I actually wanted to move from a cushy job in the private sector to actually going and working directly in public impact, in the public sector. So I decided to quit my job and applied to the MPP so that I could actually get formal grounding in policy making and formal training before I commenced my life in public service. So yes, I quit my job, applied to the MPP. Simon and the team were very kind to have accepted me in there. And yeah, I think much like as Andrea alluded to, the 1 year that I spent in the MPP program is probably one of the best things I've done in my professional or educational career. It's a very it's a program which touches upon very many aspects of policy. So Simon will give you context, but you'd be learning sort of topics as diverse as econometrics to political science to philosophy to various other specialized things as well. To me, I had background in some of these subjects, but also didn't have any background in many of them. But nevertheless, the experience of studying at the MPP was hugely enriching, both in enhancing what I already knew and in learning so many things that I didn't know. So yeah, I'm a huge believer in investing in myself. I think I spent 1 year well investing in my own personal and professional growth. And I'd very much sort of recommend it to any of you as well who are considering making a similar investment in yourself.
Wonderful. Thank you, Sachin. That's great to hear. Thank you both. So a couple of questions I've noticed. There is this question about the 5-year threshold. I think, you know, we're quite strict about this. We are prepared to look at, you know, people just under 5 years, and if other aspects of the application compensate for that, we would look at that. I think anything less than 4 years, I think probably the advice would be maybe wait a year and reapply. I think, you know, we need to sort of be quite strict about the 5-year threshold. I think there's a question from Aileen about, you know, you being a nurse and having experience as really as a sort of frontline professional. We have a good number of frontline professionals on the program, and it sounds like you've got a good number of years under your belt. So by all means, apply. You'd stand a very good chance. Okay, we'll carry on. It's great to see so many names and, you know, people around the world. It's a wonderful reflection of what our program is, a great international community, and that's very fitting. I think let's move on to the next thing, really, which is the structure of the curriculum, what you'll be asked to do. We reckon, as I said, we reckon this is about a 45-hour week, this program. It's definitely full-time, although people do combine with work as and when, and that can shift depending. But, you know, we need you here, we need you in the classroom, and really treating this like as a full-time 9-month experience. So this is the British University system. We're constrained by our 3 terms, the autumn term that goes from September to December. We're in one now, halfway through, or just past halfway. The winter term is from January to March, and the spring term from May to mid-June. So the program officially really ends in the first weeks of June. That's when the term ends, and you're free to go and do other things, essentially. And usually you will graduate in sort of sometime around mid-July. Yeah, the core of the program is 3/4 of it, essentially. So let me put the whole lot up. It's probably easier to see. So 3 units out of 4 are core public policy disciplines courses. In the first term, you'll take courses on political science for public policy, quantitative methods, and public management. In the second term, economics, philosophy, and then there's an applied course where you'll do a big project called public policy applications. So that is 3/4 of the course of the program. The other quarter is for you to choose your options. There's a very nice list of option courses are available. The School of Public Policy has option courses, and you can, maybe I can get one of our colleagues to put the graduate course list link in the chat. That's where you can have a look at the courses available this year. We can't promise they'll all be available next year. We may have some new ones, but essentially the same list will be available to you. So the final quarter of your course, of your units, are taken up by options. So that's essentially the structure. It's a pretty compact structure. Some programs have more choice. Ours is we feel like the core gives you a real transferable set of skills to understand different aspects of public policy in the round, and gives you this sort of holistic way of thinking about craft of government. So everyone does the core, but then everyone gets a chance to specialize. And then there are projects throughout. Now, if you've got economics in your background already, we give you an opportunity to check out of PP 402 or PP 404. Those are the 2 economics courses that we offer. They're really designed for people without any economics background, so very much at a level. So if you've got postgraduate or undergraduate economics, there's a good chance you might want to check out, take an exemption test, and do a more advanced course in its place. So that is the curriculum. I'm just going to talk about. So in the spring term, this is a feature of the British university term system that there is no timetable teaching in that term. So it's a term of 7 weeks. So what you'll be doing in that term is completing your projects. So everyone will work in a small group working on an applied policy project. which is supported by an external organization. So in many ways, that's a keystone for the whole program, actually, an opportunity to deploy the skills you've learned on a real life project with a real life client, essentially, an external organization. So I think, Sachin, you worked on one for the Bank of England. Andrea, you worked for the Competition and Markets Authority. I'll get you to just reflect on those in a minute. But it's a really big part of the program now. And this afternoon, we're about to present the projects available to our current cohort. They'll choose their preferences and they get going on that in January. So that's a really big part of it. Also in the spring term, you'll do a professional skills accelerator program, which is a menu really of more applied professional skills modules. And I'll say a bit more about that in a minute. It's a superb way to, I mean, really that starts at the beginning of the program as a whole, but really comes to a completion in the spring term. And then, of course, there's assessments to do. There's a few exams you might have to take as well in the spring term, and a good deal of time to get support on next steps with your career. So that, in a nutshell, is the structure of our program. Andrea, perhaps I can come back to you as a lawyer. How did you find the economics in the program? This can be quite daunting for people without much experience of economics or statistics or social science. As I said, the courses are designed for people that haven't done any really, or have done only very little. We give you a pre-module before the program starts, which is a 5-week course to get you sort of warmed up and in the mood for economics, and again, that gives you a really easy ramp in. Andrea, let me come to you and ask you, was this like a kind of a huge shock for you, the economics side of the program?
Yeah, it was weird. It was demanding. I cannot lie. I mean, you have to be very focused, and also the pre-sessional course was very important. Was key to like set up the tone of what was going ahead. So yeah, that was very useful to have. It starts 1 month before we come to London. So that was very useful because we had online courses, but then the first 2 weeks we had like in-person sessions as well with a professor. So yeah, it's a demanding part. It was a demanding part for me as a lawyer, but I would say that the best part is that the staff, the professors, and the class teachers are so approachable that any doubt that you can have, they will make the effort to explain it. And actually, I would say that quantitative methods was one of my favorite courses. Even though I suffer, it was one of my favorite courses because I really felt challenged. I really felt that this course was something I was missing in my background, and as a public policy specialist, I think this is essential for any person that wants to pursue a career in public policy, because it gives you like the foundations, the objective side that you kind of miss, for instance, when you are in a public sector or when you are a politician. I think this is an objective course that teaches you how public policy should be applied, what information do you need, how to test the options that you have, which will be the best option. So I would say this course is essential. It's essential, and it's very practical actually, because you have exercises every week that makes you don't lose training for the exam and for life, especially. So yeah, I really enjoy both quantitative methods and also economics. Economics was in the next term. So yeah, I would say it is demanding, but it's essential. So I wouldn't envision a public policy professional without having these 2 courses. I think they are vital, and they complement really well the background that you have. As a lawyer, as I said, for me, it was fundamental to have these 2 tools. And yeah, I also had I was very fortunate to have economic classmates, so we help each other a lot. So apart from the stuff, having economists on the cohort was really nice. So we help each other a lot. So I would say do not feel discouraged if you don't have the background of economics, of quantitative methods, because it will give you the basic stuff you need. And also you will feel challenged, you will feel that you're learning something new, as I did. So for me, it was amazing. It was two of my favorite courses, actually.
Thank you, great stuff. Sachin, any reflections on the curriculum, options courses, projects?
Yeah, no, I'd first of all obviously echo what Andrea said, but maybe in the spirit of trying to be additive. So in the core curriculum, of course, I think econometrics was something which I had never studied earlier, even though my context was in engineering and banking. So that was a hugely interesting course. I touched upon this briefly at the start, but I'm going to repeat it because I just thought this course was so fascinating, which is PP 406, which is philosophy for public policy. My background has not been in the humanities. I haven't come in my educational career. I never even came close to formally studying philosophy. And the entire process of studying philosophy, but with the practical lens of how that applies to public policy and how that shapes public policy, for me was fascinating. So I truly enjoyed that course, and I think it's something which, if I'm not mistaken, the SPP does differently to other sort of similar courses elsewhere. I don't know if everyone else teaches philosophy or not, but I'm sure Simon and the team can confirm that. I think the other aspect, which is not entirely sort of clear on this page, but I can briefly elaborate on it, are the option courses. There's a wealth of options available to you. Again, sort of based on your own context and background and what sort of tickles your interest. Just to speak about the option courses which I took. I took option courses in spaces which are extremely topical today. So there's a course which was offered last year on how do you regulate blockchain and digital assets, which again is extremely topical in today's context. And for someone like me who comes from a banking background, it's very, very interesting as well. So that was a fascinating course. There was another course on technology policy, which speaks about how you go about regulating various aspects of technology policy, including AI and other items which are of course very, very front and center today. So the option courses, over and above the core 6 modules, of course, which form the foundation of the degree, the option courses just expose you to just so many more aspects of policy which you can specifically pursue based on your interests. Very briefly about my own sort of the project that I did as part of PP 405, public policy applications for the Bank of England. I think these projects are a tremendous opportunity for you to potentially get to work with organizations that you might want to work with in the future. So it's a fantastic platform that the LSE provides you to actually get that engagement already going with the kind of organizations you might want to work with. Given my background, I'm obviously very keen on working with organizations like the Bank of England. And it was a fascinating project which dealt with monetary policy, climate finance, and also sort of how all of these come together to keep the financial system resilient. So it gave me the opportunity to work not just with the bank, but with various other ecosystem players in this space, like lawyers and consultants and think tanks and so on. So it's just to give you a flavor of the fact that these projects just give you a very, very wide exposure, which can then help you in your potential next steps after you finish with the program.
Wonderful, thank you, Sachin. That's great. Just the wealth of options, a wealth of courses on the options list. I see Sarah has posted the link to that in the chat. So if you want to peruse that, then you can follow that link. I should say that it is possible to do a policy paper as an option, and that is a half unit. So you can, that's a 6,000 word piece of research that runs from really the beginning in September right through to May. So you get a good chunk of time to write something that is your own. Is certainly a great way of specializing, a very good way of networking with potential employers, for example. But I would say probably about 1/5 of our group are doing a policy paper this year. You could possibly do a dissertation, which is 1 unit, but we tend to sort of be very cautious really about advising students to do a dissertation. But a policy paper is an excellent thing to do. So that's that. There's a couple of questions. I think Honor has now left the call, but she asked about the flexibility of the curriculum. I'll just reiterate that the core is not flexible. Everyone does it, and unless you check out of economics courses, We require everyone to do it, but the options courses are of course flexible. And I think Maitri asked about internships as sort of counting to career time, professional, the 5 years. If it's just an internship, we tend not to count that, quite frankly. So it needs to be good, full-time, solid professional experience in a role. Okay. But of course, you know, if you've done internships on top of your 5 years plus of employment, that's all well and good. Okay, so if it's all right, we'll move on to the next section, which is really accentuating our really excellent professional skills accelerator program, which, as I said, comes to a peak really in the spring term. This is an option, this is a chance to do a wide range of much more applied courses. There's a few examples on the screen in front of you. Everything from communication skills to data visualization to negotiation tactics and leadership, or whatever it might be. So that is a menu of things. It's entirely optional. You don't have to do that if you don't want to, but many people do and find that it is a very good way of enhancing already well-developed skills and really refining that. So that's the professional skills. That comes as well with a very extensive network of support from our wonderful careers service in the LSE, and that also has really a specialist program for professionals at LSE. In many ways, this was designed and developed with us on the MPP as we are an early to mid-career program. So there's a lot there to offer for the sort of the middle range of students, not undergraduate, not you know, very senior chief exec level, but you know, the level that most of our students are at, you know, relatively senior, but still sort of, you know, having to sort of manage networking and create opportunities really for career development after the MPP. Yeah, I mean, one of the things about our program is that everyone is on different trajectories and paths with their careers. So there is no one, you know, off-the-shelf standard profile. Everyone is different, and so our careers service and everything we do with, you know, in helping you to develop your careers and professional skills is very much geared to a more bespoke approach in that respect. So yeah, I'll leave that there. If you've got any specific questions about careers aspects or the professional skills accelerator, put them in the chat, and I'll keep an eye and try to come back to them at some point. Let's move on though to the extra. Well, okay, so well, here's a slide which gives you a taste of the sorts of organisations to whom to which our students go on to. Many come from these organisations as well, but you know, looking at where students go from us, again, it's an incredible range and diversity of well-known organisations, some small, some big, some global. I'm sure that you can find organisations that you recognise on that selection on the screen. And we've heard from both our alums on where they've gone to now. Perhaps I can ask you both how you know how it felt going back into the world of work, having done an MPP. In a couple of sentences, how did you feel different? Was it strange? What sorts of feelings did you have?
Yes, it was a bit strange after having the best year of my life in London, both professionally and personally, to go back to work but also I felt that I was more equipped to bring what I learned in this year to craft better public policies. As I told you, now I'm working for an international organization that is dedicated to build better policies for consumers online. So I'm really happy to have this background, the economic background, the quantitative methods background, because I feel I'm now more equipped to bring back all the things that I've learned. for a more global purpose. Of course, I'm passionate about consumers competition, so I keep in the field, but from another perspective, more from a global perspective. So yeah, I feel more equipped. I feel more confident about the things that I can develop in public policy. So yeah, I think this MPP has been really amazing to help me build more knowledge, more connections. Actually, my current boss is also from LSE, so yeah, you will find LSE alumni all over the world in all the places you go. So I'm really happy to have had this experience.
Thank you. Great. Sachin, anything to add to that?
Oh no, definitely back to the real world after 1 year of
Yeah.
of a very intense but very fun experience at the LSE. I think very much echo what Andrea said. For me, the MPP has obviously enhanced my professional skills, given me a perspective on the world which I didn't have previously. And it's actually just opened up so many more career opportunities for me. So my experiences in banking and finance, I could potentially go back to doing what I was doing earlier, but obviously with all of this newfound perspective. But also it's opened up the whole world of public service to me, which is why I came here in the first place. And as I go through conversations for various public impact roles, um, I can see the value of the LSE MPP live in terms of obviously how it's even helping in these conversations. So yeah, it's just really fascinating to see it play out.
Great stuff. Thank you. I mean, I should say that about half of our students on leaving the MPP end up, pivoting really from something that they were doing before to something, fundamentally a different sector or something quite different actually. So, if you're looking to pivot, have a career change or a different direction for a while, you'll find many others like that here. Probably the other half actually have, keep their continuity, perhaps go back to their old organization or go back to something very, very much like it, but maybe in a different sector or something different. So probably there's half continuity, half pivot, and substantial change is probably the average over the years. There was a question from Abigail about options courses outside of the School of Public Policy. Yes, you can take courses from anywhere across the LSE as long as they're postgraduate courses, but that comes with a very, a big proviso. We can't guarantee that you can get onto them. We'll do our best to help you get onto them, but these are other departments in the school. They have their own priorities. So it is not guaranteed that you can find a course and get onto it in another department. I think you mentioned post-conflict courses, that we have a great, some really great post-conflict courses in the government department here. And we work closely with the government department, but we can't guarantee that you can, you'll be able to get onto a particular course. Sometimes they're capped, sometimes they don't take students from outside. So it just depends, is the answer to that. Okay, maybe I can move on now to, in the last 15 minutes or so, to extracurricular activity, of which there is a great deal. This is an intensive full-time program, but we have a lot going on around the scenes, around the place. There's a few examples of core things on the screen in front of you. The Global Public Policy Network. So we run a competition to come up with a good policy innovation. You work in groups, small groups here with SPP colleagues, and go into a sort of competition effectively and go through to compete against 7 other prestigious policy schools around the world. There's a big sort of finals, and you go and present your innovation. And every year we do pretty well. Sometimes we win, sometimes we get close. But it's a great opportunity to work on something that's yours and is and is innovative. I'm going to come to Sachin in a minute because he did that last year. He also did the Turner Mint program, which is another very prestigious opportunity to get involved in a real life impact investing experience. Again, you work in a group. It's a rather select group of 5 students from the SPP. You apply and you're selected to work as a group to find a viable startup, basically a small enterprise, and to make a business case for that and try and win some money for that enterprise to to develop. So it's a real life impact experience. A range of other things as well. There's a list on the screen. We have a very developed fabric of societies and networks. The Women's Network is one of the leading ones here, and across the LSE is one of the biggest ones. So there's all sorts of opportunities to interact with practitioners and with colleagues on extracurricular stuff. Sachin, give us a couple of minutes on your experience with the MINT program and GPPN, if you can, sum it up in a few minutes.
No, absolutely. I think first and foremost at the SPP, the volume of extracurricular activities is just so huge that the only constraint is time. It's not really the number of opportunities available to you. As Simon kindly mentioned, I had the privilege of doing a couple of them, which is GPPN and MINT. So GPPN, of course, is where you sort of get the chance to go and present a policy paper on a topic of your choosing, to a global audience of essentially academicians and policymakers from some other partner prestigious public policy schools. In my case, last year, the finals of this competition was held at Columbia CEPA in New York. So me and 4 other colleagues from the MPP had the chance to actually travel to New York and present our paper there. And also just network with students from other policy schools from around the world, and also the leadership of those schools. So there were, as I said, the deans of all those schools were also there, and we actually got to meet with them and have coffee with them and actually build connections with them as well. So it's a fantastic platform, highly recommended, for any of you who do sort of come to the SPP. Likewise, also for Tournament. Tournament is a bit more specialized, as Simon said. It's specifically focused on impact investing and social entrepreneurship, and it has a very strong real world element to it. So if you are interested in that space, it's a tremendous opportunity. The finals of it every year get hosted at the Wharton Business School in Pennsylvania. So again, last year I had the chance of traveling with my teammates from the SPP, and we presented a solution there of a real world early stage venture, which was using AI to work on malaria cost, to reduce the cost of malaria interventions in Africa. So very, very applied real world good work. And we got the chance to present that case to a global body of impact investors and try to get some funding to that particular sort of early stage enterprise. So yeah, tremendous opportunities. Happy to obviously connect with you on any of them if you'd like to know more in detail. But there's just a wealth of opportunities available to you at the SPP, even from an extracurricular perspective.
Wonderful, thank you. Andrea, anything to add on the extracurricular fabric of the MPP?
Sure. I would say the policy and practice seminars are really enriching. Like you can see people from all over the world, like ministers, ex-presidents, very high level people coming to the SPP that you will be amazed that you have the opportunity to talk to them. And also what I was amazed of is like having the opportunity to see Nobel Prize winners live, like very close to them, even talk to them. For me, it was amazing to see that. So this is something that the LSE, the SPP brings you. And of course, London is a great city. I would say it's my favorite city in the world right now. So yeah, take advantage of these opportunities. Also, curricular opportunities I had the chance to. There is a London Student Sustainability Network. I had the chance to present on that, on my work on sustainability, consumer protection, and competition. So yeah, London, the SPP, the LSE brings you a lot of opportunities. As Sachin said, the only thing you will like is time because there is a lot to do. The program is a demanding one. You also want to meet your friends, meet the city. So yeah, I would say take advantage of it. If you have the opportunity to not work, consider it. I know it's very hard to have this opportunity, but I would really encourage it to take full advantage of the program. As Simon said, this is a full-time program, and it really is. And also because there are a lot of things going on in London, in LSE. Yeah, before going to London, I couldn't imagine I could meet 5 Nobel Prize winners or people that I've only read before. So yeah, please do take advantage of these extracurricular opportunities. The city itself is amazing. The Waterloo Bridge is my favorite, as you mentioned, Simon, as well. So yeah, I really always remember going all days to school from there. So it was a really life-changing time.
Lovely. It's my favourite bridge as well. So there you go.
Yeah.
I'm going to come back to both of you to finish off the session with one piece of advice to our audience. So if you can think back to, maybe you sat in one of these sessions wondering whether to apply to the MPP. The advice doesn't necessarily have to be apply. It could be anything on these difficult decisions on choosing a master's program. Share a piece of advice, but I'll come back to you. So a few minutes to think about that. In the meantime, we'll just finish off the presentation and with logistical points. I mean, there have been lots of good questions in the chat, and I think that Sarah and Maddie have fielded most of them. But again, if you've got questions, you can email us, and we're here to answer any of them, really. So. I think this question of who should apply. I hope that it's been clear from the get-go that if you meet the basic requirements that we have, then you're not going to feel out of place on this program. So if you've got the 5 years and you've got a good passion for the sorts of things that we would that involve public policy involves, and that's a very broad church. Then you're in very good position. We do require a strong academic record, but I'm sure that all of you will have that. There's a possibility to compensate as well if you've been out of academia for many years, and you can't even remember being at university. If you've got 20, 30 years of excellent experience, we're also prepared to compensate for maybe sort of less performance on the academic side. It's a balance, basically. I hope that you feel that you. I'm just looking for Sachin in this picture. No, you wouldn't have been in it. That was a different year completely. I mean, how to apply? It's all there online. There's a great deal of information on our website. There are deadlines, so there is an early application deadline in mid-January, the 26th of January. So it's good to get your application in before then. I think the earlier the better, because it gives you time to think about funding and scholarships, and also if you are making decisions against other schools, gives you a bit of time to weigh it all up. So I think if you want to get an application in, the sooner the better. There's a lot of support available for you, as I've said. And again, all you have to do is send us an email to get further info. And as ever, with these sorts of processes nowadays, there's all sorts of social media platforms that you can get involved in. You can follow us on all the standard ones, and if you apply and you receive an offer, there are groups you can join to give you a sense really of what's going on. So that's another sort of level of access in a way. So I think we're 3 minutes away from the end. I think I can't see any more questions that haven't been covered, but maybe I'm wrong on that. Sarah, Maddie, are there any questions that I could answer that you haven't been able to answer?
There isn't a direct question, but one for the alumni have just come through about the LSE MPP is done in 9 months. How stressful was it really?
Sorry, say that again. So how it's done in 9 months. How stressful was it? Really?
Marietta just posted it in the chat. So for Sachin and Andrea, how stressful is it really?
I'm sure that depends on your tolerance for stress, but I'll let the other two reflect on that as well. So maybe I can just come back to you both and get you to reflect on how stressful was it really, and a piece of advice for our group who are thinking about applying.
Yeah, maybe I'll just sort of an instinctive answer to how stressful was it. I wouldn't necessarily term it stressful. It was intense, but that's a good thing because you've come here, you've taken 1 year out of your lives to pausing the really good professional careers to come and add some value to yourself. So the fact that it's very packed is a good thing. So yeah, I wouldn't necessarily categorize it as stressful, but yes, intense for sure. Now coming to sort of advice, I can just sort of speak from personal experience. The decision to obviously kind of pause my career, which was obviously in a good place, to take time off and come and study, was something I had to ponder over long and hard. And I imagine each of you might need to do that as well. So yes, in my case, what made the decision easy was the fact that I was convinced of wanting to make this pivot towards public service, and the fact that I knew this degree would help set me up for that. So I just advise each of you to also just be very clear about what are your reasons for wanting to do this, because once you are, and you come and spend the 1 year or 9 months doing this over here, you will not regret it, which definitely has been my experience, once I finished with the program. So yeah, that's one piece of advice for you who are considering coming in. And obviously, whichever ones of you do finally come in and study at the SPP, my only other piece of advice would be manage your time well. Time is short, the opportunities are many, many, many. So yes, obviously, please do make the most of it.
Lovely, thank you. Andrea.
Yes, thank you. Just to not repeat what Sachin said, that I fully agree. Yeah, it was a demanding program, but I would say is the time to be demanding. I mean, you won't have another time to spend 1 year in London, to spend time with people from all over the world, with great professors. So once you have made a decision to come to the LSE, to the MPP, please take advantage of it. Use the office hours. I think I used the office hours as much as I could. And I talked a lot with Simon, with all the professors. So that's something I always remember, because I believe I took advantage of the program. I did as much things as I could. So yeah, I'm really happy about the decision I made. So I would encourage you to take advantage of all the opportunities. Probably you will feel tired, you will feel that you have a lot going on, but this is something that you will only do for 1 year. So just take advantage of it, enjoy it, and also enjoy London, which is a great city.
Thank you so much. Okay, we're going to wrap up. I think we've been so lucky to benefit from both of your reflections. So thank you very much. It's most appreciated. Thank you to the wider group for joining. I hope that you found that of some use. Again, as I said, it's potentially just the beginning of a conversation. We are at the end of an email address. If you want to get in touch, please do, and we will aim to get back to you as soon as possible with any questions, no matter how straightforward or fundamental. That's what we're here to do, to try and make it easier for you to navigate this very important and critical juncture in your working lives. So it's great to see you all, or to see your names on the screen, and thank you for writing in the chat with lots of good questions and just saying hello. We'll sign off from our colleagues and myself. Have a good day wherever you are in the world, and yeah, see you soon, hopefully.
Sure. Thank you.